Right, we're live.
We are live. Yeah, welcome everybody to the weekly infra meeting. Uh, we already prepared the updates. I'm just gonna go first through mine. Essentially, we are rolling out the FOSSA integration. So the first thing I did was created a spreadsheet, organizational spreadsheet for tracking all the FOSSA integrations. I collected some of the owners and some of the data, but we don't have all the full information yet. I hope by the end of the week I'm gonna track down the rest of the people and have that prepared. Also, I generated reports for like 80% of the current repositories we have. Some of them failed. I looked why. Seems that some of them are Python, and I haven't figured out why the Python ones failed. I have to check that tomorrow. And some of the Rust ones failed as well. So I'm gonna try to either retry the jobs or investigate what was the reason why the dependency parsing didn't work. I also started sending out the first issues on GitHub for resolving the repositories with all the concerns to FOSSA. I think I sent out like around 10 of them. Essentially, they're just an issue explaining what's happening and provide a link to the FOSSA report. These issues are assigned to the owners. Once the owners close the issue, I'm going to start the integration. Some of the repos didn't have an issue, so I started like pipelining them, and I already implemented integration for 4 repos right now. So near Bosch.js, near Ledger.js, and near API.js and near Docs are fully FOSSA integrated via Travis because they were using Travis. And I just hope to continue this process, iterating through the process, and hopefully by the next milestone we have full FOSSA integration. The thing which is kind of dependent is how fast other teams resolve the issues. Some of them have like 1 or 2 issues, some of them have more. So yeah, Max, if that's something like you can help out, you have the spreadsheet, so you can take a look on the issues and the reports, and yeah, if you can help out on making sure that people understand we really have to do this.
Well, I mean, they might. So it wasn't included in the OKRs for Q1. So depending on how much time it takes, they might resolve it immediately, or they can shelve it for the next quarter. I think most of the things that I've seen so far, I mean, there is no issue. You see, the solution almost universally to our repositories is that it's to either use Apache 2 or GPL, depending on what dependencies you have. And the policy that we have set up in there, whichever policy is that, is also not something that we have configured well. So, for instance, I saw your report for the New York core. It says, whatever, 18 issues, GPL dependencies found. But no, it's just because our policy says no GPL dependencies. But we cannot not have GPL in our core because of dependencies. And I examined already most of them in the past myself manually. And we can whitelist, like we can like whitelist almost all of them because that's exactly the case of us importing something like RocksDB from Facebook that has actual Apache 2, but they mention the word GPL somewhere and the FOSSA triggers and things that GPL GPL license. So which is actually another thing that I wanted to bring up. Like I looked at some of the reports, and I remember like during the training I said that FOSSA has like 2 ways of analyzing things. One of them is static, where they parse the whatever cargo toml package JSON, and they have lots of false positives. Like they think there is an issue, but there is none actually.
Yeah. The ones I integrated are all server scans.
Service what
Server
scans?
scans. Server scans. So it's
From CLI?
they build it. Yeah. The
Huh.
CLI. They're all CLI tools.
That's so interesting.
Yeah. They're all CLI. So all the ones I integrated, all the reports I ran,
Okay, that's
they
great.
are run through the CLI. I wrote a script which essentially takes all the repos, filters them out, and then that does a request through the CLI to the Fossa servers, and then it
Okay.
builds on the servers.
Yeah, we would have to also. I mean, we're just starting scratching the surface with Fossa. So I mean, I can say so many things that we have to do in the future, but we don't. Doesn't mean you need to do it like right now. But
Sure, sure.
definitely keep in mind that we would have different modes of building of near core, because we have different virtual machines in there, and they drag so many dependencies.
Yeah.
Okay.
For now, I just did the
Hmm.
initial server side scan,
Yeah.
and once we get that result, like then we can talk about specific compilation flags, etc. Because
Okay.
that's gonna be more trickier. I
Okay.
think the more the better we like cover right now, and then specific cases we can cover easily
Yep. Yep.
later on.
So I can actually help with most of the like triggers that reports show, like most of the errors, because I already did like a lot of work on examining at least for the near core, and I want to be even more educated on like policy triggers for the license compliance. So for many of them, I can actually go over them myself, and in
Okay,
most of
that
the
would be cool. Yeah, that would be cool because I really don't have time to
yeah.
look through every, and my understanding of this is kind of limited
In
right.
90% of the cases, it's going to be whitelisting of the dependency rather than a repo change, because as I said, Fossa is being conservative, so sometimes it thinks it's GPL when it's actually not GPL.
Yeah. So I created the issues so people can resolve them or just whitelist them, and then once that's done and the issue is closed, then I start the integration because the integration is blocking on PRs. So if you introduce something blocking in the PR, you will have to manually check that the thing you're introducing is either a false positive or it can be whitelisted or
That's
it
great.
should be removed
Yeah,
in the
that's
end.
great. Cool.
Yeah, yeah. And the last thing I did this week, I prepared a presentation, and I just gave a presentation like 10 minutes ago, finished it
Nice.
to the about NIR, to the
Yeah.
Croatian Blockchain Association. People had a bunch of questions. Some of them I didn't know the answer,
Hmm.
so I said I'm gonna follow up because most of the people, like we have a forum together, so I'm gonna respond to them once I
Hmm.
collect more information. I think Bowen is the best person to ask these questions because people ask me like how are we slashing nodes and how they get penalized exactly, and I was like, yeah, that's kind of outside of my uh, knowledge base right now.
Yeah.
So
Well,
yeah.
we ideally should not be threading everything for Bowen,
Yeah, but
who's there
somebody
for
from the team, yeah, I can
Sony for the team.
connect me to
Yeah.
somebody who knows. Um,
Do you have a link for this presentation, like a video recording or like a link to the
it's in
slides?
Croatian, and it's been
That's
recorded.
fine.
And it's gonna be uploaded somewhere.
Okay.
Yeah,
When is
I
it going to be
recycled
uploaded?
some old one, and yeah,
Can you add link to the presentation here?
yeah. Oh yeah, I can give it. It's on Drive.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, I'm gonna edit later
Cool.
to find it.
Right. Good stuff.
Yeah, and next week I plan to I'm just gonna continue with the Fossa integration, milestone planning, and on call. I'm on call like 3 or 4 days next week, so
Okay.
uh, yeah,
All right. I'm gonna do milestone planning together with you next week.
sounds good. Yeah, Mario, can you give an update?
Yeah, so there were some issues with the mainnet release, so that's done. All nodes are running the latest mainnet release. There were issues around archival nodes due to the migrations. Fortunately, I was able to fix that by leveraging actually Terraform. So it was similar as Bowen proposed, running migration on one node and then copying data on other nodes. But actually, Terraform was able to execute that like very fast. Like instead of, I don't know, 12 or 14 hours, it took an hour, something like that. After the first initial migration, just to have fresh data, which is already upgraded. Also fixed running Terraform on AWS or Ansible Tower. That actually enabled public backups, which are back online. So we have RPC and archival backups for testnet and mainnet. Also, a major revision of all alerts due to the different naming of testnet and the mainnet nodes. This actually enables us to have more precise alerts, so we know exactly for what each node is being used. Also, auto restarting near D. That's, I think, a major thing for on-call. So we no longer should have being paged and doing a simple restart. So that's going to be automated now. And also added some new alerts for GCP load balancer latency. So I included the metrics from GCP basically, and now we have alerts based on that. That's, I would say, because that's the actual latency which our user experience is, not just something that we measure on our side inside near D. Like for the next week, I don't know, there's something, there's milestone planning. I plan to revision, not to revision, I have to make a new Greylog instance, which is going to be sharded because the current one cannot cope with all the traffic we send to it. Like there's too many logs for it to handle. So there's that, and and also some follow-ups on bridge, but we'll go through that in I would say in milestone planning in more detail.
So what did you do for the bridge again last week?
For the bridge, there wasn't much. I did some investigation on around end-to-end test.
Mm-hmm.
I got in touch with Alex, so we
Mm-hmm.
had a call about it. So he explained me how to do it. There's a document which
Mm-hmm.
very detailedly describes how it's going to work. The issue with those end-to-end tests is that the bridge is being stabilized. So if I make it now, it's not going to be the final version due to the. I don't think so much about the compatibility of the code. The code itself should be okay, but the bridge deployments will be changed, like the contract addresses, everything. So I don't see that as high importance right now. And also we have front end monitoring for the bridge. I'm still investigating how to do that. Vlad Grichina has some nice ideas about front end monitoring on the wallet side. But for the, I was talking, or better to say, chatting up on Discord with Alex about it, and he said that it would be better to have fully pledged front end monitoring with everything being piped to a backend service. So we have things like what specific pages user visits, how long it takes for
Yeah,
the
that's
page to
something I
load.
wanted to bring up for the discussion. Sorry for interrupting, but the thing is like that's kind of problematic. Like Vlad didn't say it, but like he had a good point on adding. He essentially what he added is like kind of Selenium-like tests, and Mario was investigating Selenium-like tests for health checking and clicking on the UI and making sure that things work. Instead of adding monitoring into the wallet, like if we add the monitoring into the wallet, we could leak information. Which would like I won't use I won't use a wallet which has kind of monitoring in it, and then I see in the browser that it's sending data, because it could send some data which I don't want to send out. And the same for the Rainbow Bridge. If the Rainbow Bridge is like hosting any secret information which you don't really want to share, like I wouldn't be confident in using something which is doing that kind of monitoring. So that was one of the concerns Mario raised, and I think what Grichina is thinking about the same. So I think the better way of like approaching the web monitoring, what Mario was investing, is like adding either end-to-end Selenium tests and also adding scripts which are trying to scrape the web page on our browsers to make sure that things are working. And then if that fails, it just sends a pager duty, similar to the 2FA authentication Grichina wrote for wallet. And like we have to figure out more now. 2FA is very important, so like that has coverage which he wrote, but like we could help out on adding these kind of things in the future, like create some tool for people to easily add like some kind of cron job which gets run to test these things, in my opinion.
So what is Selenium? Is it like a clicker?
So a Selenium is essentially a bare browser.
Oh, I see.
Which loads the page, and then you can click on
Clicker. I see. Got it.
you can click on the stuff. You can intercept AJAX requests, like anything you can do in browser. It's like essentially an API for the browser. You can run for testing.
Yeah, just to clear out things. So Selenium is actually wrapping Firefox and Chrome for now. and even open source Chromium. So
Yeah.
you really get a fully pledged browser, so you can do a lot of things. So it's not
Mm.
like you had Phantom JS, we tried to have like a minimal testing browser, but that failed. But now people realize that it's way better just to use fully pledged Chrome, and then you can do all that you can do on screen, and that's it.
So yeah, that would be a good solution, and then have alerting on that, and then run that on master as well. Every time when you run to master, you have a test which spins up the whole application. The browser does all the testing, and then alerts if something wrong, or even pre-release. Like at Facebook, we had like a continuous job, which would kind of run end-to-end tests all the time, daily, and then if it fails, it will block the release. And then you had like dashboard UI where you could see which tests have failed, and people would not release broken stuff because that was blocking them, essentially. Because like right now we don't have any prevention of releasing bad stuff. Like we have good stuff on, like we have really good testing on landing commits, but we don't have really runtime testing before releasing stuff. So I think that will be something which we should think about for Q2, like properly doing it. Right now we are like just patching stuff up. I think Q2 should be more about actually implementing more and more of these across products.
All right. So one thing, and I just assisted you in Slack channel, is we discussed that we're going to be starting the Node Experience team. I don't know whether you heard about it. And this team is going to be focused, like I'm just going to say what the way the Bowen broke it down, because he thought about it more than I did. Actually, Bowen, maybe you can tell them what Node Experience team is.
Sure. Yeah, it's essentially everything related to running a node. This contains managing feature requests from validators, from third-party RPC providers to exchanges, and then also includes developer needs when we talk about local development environment, the need to spin up a node locally, and also maybe even a modified version of the node to support like Ganache-like features. And yeah, and I think it's not only limited to features, but also things like tools to investigate issues with the node and debugging the node. So yeah, so everything around running a node to features to make it better, to tools to investigate the issues, and yeah, it's that's pretty much it.
It's going to be like very product focused team.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, it's going to be a very product focused team. Yes.
They're going to have a dedicated product manager for sure. They're going to spend a lot of time talking to validators, all these partners that we have, which I'm not going to name right now. And they're gonna they might be even very likely, I think, responsible for everything like RPC related, like RPC, like how do like run an indexer, running maybe even archival nodes, running maybe RPC, providing documentation for how people can use it. So that's going to be all on their plate, and they're going to take care of all this product communication. So just like heads up, yeah.
What team gonna be?
What?
How big?
I think.
Let's not go. This is. I don't know whether this is public information that we should discuss here.
Okay.
Yeah, I mean, nothing in ordinary. Okay, so cool. What are you guys planning to do? So you said FOSSA integration, Sandy for you, milestone planning on call activities, Greylog centralized login setup. Oh yeah, so they might all be also taking care of the login, right? Because as part of the node experience, like what is our node providing in terms of like data? How do we collect it also from our partners? If they run our nodes, how do we get it from them?
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
It's like logs, these counters that you guys have implemented. They're gonna be owning.
If I understand correctly, like we are going to provide the infrastructure to them for logging,
Yes.
but they're gonna
Yes.
be implementing the logging. Side.
Well, yeah. So basically, SRE team will still be responsible for providing the, as you said, infrastructure and tools, monitoring setup, and that team will focus so that team can focus more on, for example, analysis of the logs and the but building things on top of existing infrastructures.
Also improving the logs, right?
So, yeah, improving the logs. Yes.
Like they actually gonna go through the code and make sure that we're logging the right stuff and not just like random things.
Yes.
Sounds good. Yeah.
So I had like a one discussion item, which is some suggestions for the OKRs for Q1, just like rephrasing them. But I see there is another one, monitoring for wallet and web services in general. You want to discuss it now? That's what you meant by the Selenium and
yes.
Okay,
yes,
got it.
Yes, I just wrote it down
Cool.
Yeah.
Okay, Sandy, Mario, do you want to discuss anything?
Yeah. Like we shouldn't be like I know that Alex Shevchenko said that like we should log what people click and stuff. I think we should be like there's tools which actually record your screen and stuff like this, and like I don't think we should be doing any kind of this kind of monitoring. We should be doing this on our side and maybe automate these kind of things to not spy on our users. Essentially, that was my point.
Yeah, that's really on the plate of the product team, which is Kendall, being led by Kendall, on what is the comfortable level of us logging information from the users. Obviously, we're gonna let them know, make them opt into this, and not just like do it behind the scenes. And what is the comfort level for us to actually ask users to give us this information? You can even propagate this concerns that you have directly to Kendall, who is talking to everyone who is doing some kind of product management and product ownership in our organization. Like you can start this conversation, even Sandy, in Slack or like in gov.near.org and say, all right, we want to do that. Where is the comfort level here? What is acceptable for us as an organization? I encourage you doing that. You don't need to wait for anyone to do that for you.
Yeah, sure. Yeah, I think, I raised my concerns and I would raise them again. But yeah, I'm just gonna write it down.
Okay.
Yeah. Yeah, sounds good. Yeah, nothing else from my side. Anybody else has something to point out or mention?
Yeah, so I have OKRs. Can I hijack your screen? I mean,
sure.
Right, so these are OKRs. So suggestions that I have is rephrasing some of them to be less of initiatives and more as key results, meaning that the key results make them focused on the problem that we are trying to solve, rather than what are the steps we are taking. And the reason to do it is that will allow us more flexibility, right? If we find some different way of achieving the metrics that we set using different initiatives, then we should have this kind of flexibility. So for instance, what I propose for better incident reporting and on-call playbook, what the pain that we're actually trying to address here is free up infra team and Bowen from being the go-to people for all kind of resolutions of incidents. That's our end goal here, right? Or do we have any other kind of end goals with it, Sandy, Mario?
Have accountability for teams of how their services are healthy.
Okay, yeah. So it's accountability and unbottlenecking on infra team and Bowen. And I suggest that's how we actually formulate it. So the way I would formulate the key result here is, let's say 80% of the incidents are resolved without involving infra team or Bowen. And then
I understand your point. Yeah, I think it's just like, yeah, right now changing that to like, it's not really the same as above.
Set up regular incident. Yeah, so this encapsulates also accountability, right? Create service directory templates and each service owner. So that's what I would put it into the notes, like how we can achieve it. Work with teams responsible for different, and each team has automated monitoring and alerting. So let me just like propose and what I would do, and then we can discuss. So I would say also like 80% of the incidents are responded within severity deadline.
Yeah, this one I don't like. I mentioned that before, that like we shouldn't add OKRs which we don't have control of.
Yeah, okay.
Like, if another team does not respond,
yeah,
like we cannot force them to respond. And then
yeah,
like that was like we had OKRs like this last half.
Yeah.
And like I agree that our OKRs are not not quantifiable right now.
Yeah.
I agree on that, but
Yeah.
I don't think we should have OKRs which are other team dependent.
Okay, I'm totally support that. So that should not be your OKR, right?
That should be another team's OKR.
Yeah,
Yes.
That should be someone's OKR. Work with teams responsible for different services to make sure that each service has automated monitor and alerting. How about we say, that the teams, that we say, we express what we want to achieve with this initiative, which is teams have tools to address 80% of the incidents. Like this is something that is like within your control, that you can provide the tools. Whether they respond, whether they use it correctly or not, it's not on you, and that's not part of your OKRs. How about we do that? Teams have the tools necessary to address 80% of incidents.
Okay.
Yeah, like I get what you're trying to achieve here with the 80% of the incidents, but there's an issue here.
Yeah.
We have automated resolving of incidents now, like with the node restarts, and we actually made the incidents more severe. So the incidents we are going to have from now on, it's not going to be restart the machine. It's going to be far more severe than that.
Yeah.
It's going to require, I would say, infra team, but it's going to require, I would say, very, very a lot of insight into what happened. Like it's not something like restarting. That's the issue I have with this. Like it's not the same situation as a month ago.
Can you explain it more to me? You're saying the incidents are becoming more severe.
Yeah, because as I mentioned, so I added automatic restart of the node.
Yeah.
So most of our incidents were restarting the node. So node died due to most of them are due to the memory exhaustion. And the issue now is those incidents are going to get auto-resolved. The ones we are going to have now related to RPC are going to be way more severe than that.
Oh, that's good. That means that you addressed most of the incidents automatically.
Yes.
So basically, like, let me like take a step back.
The first one is a good example how it should maybe be. Create service directory templates and ask each service owner to create, like that could be rephrased maybe 80% of services have a service directory template. The first one, yeah.
Have service
have a service directory template.
Yeah, sorry to interrupt, but I have a meta question.
Mhm.
Are we actually allowed to address the OKRs like after it is set?
Well, I mean, so what we're doing, we're not adding work here, right? We're rephrasing so that that we address the issues that, just like Sandy and Mario said, where they don't want to be responsible for something that they cannot control, one of them, and also that we actually address the pain here rather than how we're gonna solve it. So when the idea the idea of not modifying OKRs is that you don't add work to the team after OKRs are set. Here we're not adding the work. Here we actually like moving the constraints on them and removing the accountability of things they don't have control of by rephrasing it in a in a way that addresses pain.
Yeah, that's
yeah.
Okay, thanks for explaining that.
Yeah, like I actually want to like help in this case and not like add a bunch of extra work for the infra team, because I would take these things and maybe think on how else we can address it instead of just like doing those initiatives. So have service directory template. What do I achieve with service director template? It's I see. Yeah. So we're basically saying that there is a go-to place for everything about the service for the teams. That's what
not exactly. Like this is a tool like SREs use to. This is a tool which SREs use to make teams accountable for their work. So like if we provide monitoring, we add monitoring to the service directory, and then we say wallet has monitoring or doesn't have monitoring or has 30% monitoring or has 50% monitoring. Only covers like a subset of services inside of.
Okay, cool.
And based on the service directory, we plan for the next quarter. So we create a service directory and then we say, okay, these are the services which are not covered in these parts. And these are the ways, how do we improve them? And then based on this, we go to the team and ask them, hi guys, in Q2, based on the service directory we have right now, we can say that your service doesn't have an on-call handbook and people are not responding to the incidents, for example, or it doesn't have monitoring. There have been 5 incidents because of that. And then we can like say, guys, can you implement a service? Like, can you implement monitoring for it? And then like we take a check mark off. It's essentially a service health dashboard, or however you want to call it. And that gives us insight on what has to be done for a team and gives them accountability to implement it once we have the tooling for them to approach the problem.
So okay, got it. So this one, we agree that this is a good way to rephrase it, right?
Yes.
It's still Sandy here, and this is still
you can delete
inspirational.
the first one.
Let's delete this one. So work with teams responsible for different services to make sure that each service has automated monitoring and alerting. So this is something that we want to rephrase, I feel like, because it kind of like not fully under control of the infra team, right? Are you gonna force people to talk to you?
I agree.
Okay, so what we want to address here with this initiative to make sure that each service automated monitoring and alerting. How about we actually say what infra will provide here? Oh yeah, so that's exactly this thing. Address that each team has tools necessary to address incidents. And whatever they do with these tools is not in the control of the infra team. So basically, this is a subset of this thing. Like,
yes, and then you would also split it to not only address, but also to detect incidents.
To address, okay, and detect.
Yeah, I think these are two separate. I would split them up because addressing is much different than just detecting.
Okay. To detect. Okay, yeah. So that's like removes extra responsibility that you don't have control of from the infra team, and I think this is good.
And then the third one I would delete. 8 incidents are resolved without infra team or Bowen, because that,
Okay, let's see. So this is also aspirational, and we have replaced this one, right? So I delete this one.
Yes.
So this committed. Set up regular incident analysis and review meetings. Okay, what
Yeah,
go ahead.
I would make them, now we have them be weekly and it seems too frequent, and then we cancel it. I would create a monthly incident review analysis and review meeting where everybody is like committed to go, all the owners, but then we have more time to prepare, because now, like, due to the pure amount of work and not enough incidents, like we have semi reviews right now. As we grow, they're going to be more frequent, but right now it's just like it's not organized at all.
Okay.
The structure, like people don't come, and like it's a mess.
So what are we trying to address with incident review? We want to make, with regular incident review, we want to make sure that incidents are discussed and we learn from them, right? And we address them. So how about we say like 80% of the incidents had review by the parties that need to be involved in them in this review? Because
Yes, but
what
Sev ones and Sev zeros, I don't think we should go
Okay.
for the automated ones,
Yeah.
because we have daily automated ones which are
When it comes to needed parties, the issue here is actually that every team should be present. That's the issue with incident review. Because sometimes, for example, like other teams don't know the issues and they can encounter the same issues again.
Okay, were reviewed and discussed by affected parties.
Yeah, affected service owners.
Right. So this is actually well, I mean, this is how exactly it's in the control. It's not like you can drag people by force into the discussion of this, right?
Yeah,
So
but that's still like accountability part. Like every team should be accountable for attending these. Like that's how it's in other organization. Like if you get, like, anytime I got invited or like it was known at any big company that, like, if you get invited to a SEV review, it's it's important.
Yeah. So what I'm thinking is, like, I agree that it needs to be written somewhere, but this is the goal. People are accountable. I wonder whether we should split it and have the accountability part on someone like me, like in my personal cars, that says the teams attend the postmortems.
Usually it's the managers of the teams who are responsible.
Okay, so I'm managing your team, so I can put it in my cars and say.
Yeah, but
only for our team. Like the catch is, like, it doesn't have to be like, I don't know, the manager of the team, the technical of the team. Like it's perfectly okay just for anybody from the team to show up.
I understand.
It's more about intelligence. So like so people know what's happening. That's it. Like it doesn't have to be like the whole team has to be present. No, not at all. Like it's just a way to inform people what's happening, so they know. Like, for example, let's say we have issues with RPC or something, and somebody else is using that, and they don't know the issues are there. For example.
Okay. Yes. Okay, so I think we're actually on the same page here. It's just what I'm saying is that I'm trying to extract the accountability part from this one. So because you don't have ability to like force teams to come, right? This ability is on me, and that's why it needs.
We can do the incident review by ourselves. Like nobody comes, we're still gonna do it.
Okay, we're reviewed and we're reviewed. Are reviewed, and what I'm gonna put into mine is all affected parties attend incident reviews product. So that's basically my OKR, because that's what I can influence, and that's why it should be like on my plate, because you cannot really affect teams, make them come, but I can, so I have more control over that. And it would be unfair to put this kind of like requirement on you, say infra team somehow found a way to make people come to the meetings, right?
Yeah,
do you
that
see
was the same problem with the on-call. Like last queue, I had like, yeah, 0.
okay,
Like,
yeah.
yeah.
So
In
do you
the
see
end, we up
okay,
everything which came,
what?
either Bowen or me or Mario.
Yeah.
It's
So
like,
mhm.
yeah, nothing
Interrupted
you
you.
can
I'm
do.
sorry. I interrupted like 3 times in a row. So bad. All right. So do we do anything with other stuff? Breach infrastructure, or have proper monitoring alerting setup? So they're also not quantifiable. Should we just like drop some like high level numbers? I mean, we're not targeting OKRs to be complete to 100%. You know that, guys, right?
Yeah.
They're meant to be incomplete by the end of the quarter.
I think for the bridge stuff, it's kind of, like
it's
you cannot
over
really
not-
quantify 80% monitoring. Like, what is 80% of full monitoring? It's like
Yeah.
never full,
Yeah.
I
Yeah,
think
just
it's
to clarify, like the point of this like OKRs is for the bridge team to have capability to just customize monitoring as they wish. Like, for example, the bridge relayers are from the infrastructure side, they're already done. All the metrics, everything is being collected. And then now they can easily add new metrics, create new alerts, and those kind of things. The end-to-end tests and front-end are also like they haven't even started properly, but after they're done, they are able to easily add more stuff or to calibrate. Like, it's not that we own the stuff after it makes sense.
Okay. Well, so as I look for those things,
yeah. Foci would change. Foci would change. Foci
What
is
would
integrated
change?
with CI. I would say that like 80%, 80% of Fossa, because yeah, as you said,
top 80% of
don't get
important.
resolved, I cannot implement them.
Yeah.
Okay. Yeah.
Because like we don't want near core to be in 20% by the end of the quarter.
Yeah, I think me and Bowen will figure out near core easily. Then there's like a bunch of others which have a lot of repos.
I believe we'll figure it out, but I doubt it's going to be very easy. I hope we can figure it out.
Yeah.
Okay.
I hope it's gonna be. I hope.
So I'm gonna change this to 80% everywhere. So
GitHub. That's not actually
I think
that can be removed, actually, integrated with GitHub, because that's by default. That's already done, kind of, because I generated reports for all of them, and I have a. You can leave it. You can leave it, actually. Yeah.
But you need hooks like in GitHub pull requests, right?
No, but that's the CI integration. That's the CI integration for. That's the CI integration, because that's the like GitHub triggers the CI, and then the CI does it. So
okay, cool. Sounds good.
Yeah, I would add another one, maybe, which is 90% of them have generated reports.
How would you have integration with CI without generated reports?
Through the Fossa init script, like. And then some of them are not working with Fossa init by default, which is like maybe 20% of them right now. So I'm gonna have to figure out why these, like Python is probably the biggest. Python ones don't work, but I don't know.
Okay, cool. Sounds good. Great. Okay, so these initiatives, I think they're fine. I mean, the difference between these initiatives, key results that initiatives, and these ones is that, I mean, these were not addressing the actual pain point, and they were like putting stuff on the infra team that they were not able to control. Well, these are actually just like launches of the products and features, like an usable centralized log collection service. So I would say launch usable centralized automatically generate core dumps. I think this is fine as initiatives. So the line between initiatives and key results is kind of blurry. Visualize RPC timeouts by method names, capture RPC request payload, facilitate transition of production RPC service to third-party providers. So this one is fuzzy. Produce production RPC service to third-party providers. This is actually going to be off your plate, Sandy, once we
Yes, I
have
know.
node experience team. Should we remove it? Oh, I
Yeah.
should actually put it.
But the
Yeah.
the team is probably not going to be there for a period of time. So, I mean, depends. Yeah, depending on what you want. It's up to you.
Yeah,
to
like
decide.
and there's also some other stuff we have, like the backups and all those kind of stuff. Like I don't know. I would wait to see how it's going to pan out.
Yeah, I think that like day-to-day operations are accounted by default for SREs. Like you don't define them in OKRs. It's just like day-to-day job, and then
Yeah, like I'm not sure about this transition part. Like I don't know, it's still not defined. Like I don't know, at least as much as I can say for now.
It's not well defined. I agree. Actually, in terms of maintenance, I saw SRE teams actually creating OKRs specifically for the maintenance that says something being done for the entire quarter. And because the rule of thumb is that if you spend significant time on something, then it should be on the OKRs. Otherwise, you're not taking credit for it. You're doing something.
you do on the end of the half when you write the, PSC or whatever.
Well, I mean, but it's better to have it as a OKR that everyone can see.
I mean,
Yeah,
then
like-
you can add the on-call.
Yeah.
100% of on-call shifts are covered by SREs.
Sounds
Like-
good. Yeah.
Yeah, like this with third-party RPC providers, like we have to start working on that. I would say properly to be able to tell if you're needed or not. Like,
Mm-hmm.
and also like the whole setup. Like I don't know, we thought it's going to begin like way faster. Like it's going to be progress right now, to be honest. But unfortunately, it's not. So like we're not like we cannot facilitate something we don't have. Like
Okay. So this is also a very vague formulation, facilitate. Like it says that we want to do something about it. It's not even initiative. It's like a vague initiative. So what are we actually trying to address here with facilitating transition of production RPC services to third-party providers? Is it like we are not responsible for our RPC? Can we formulate it in terms of like traffic? Can we say that third parties are able to maintain comparable RPC load to our main endpoint? Something like that?
That's like not on us, kind of. It's like more on a partnership thing.
Yeah, that's a good point. You don't have control over it.
Like,
So what do you have control
now,
over?
like a good example. Yeah, I'm not gonna say, but yeah.
You can say partner X.
Partner X. Yeah, I don't want to say it again. It's gonna be
All right.
obvious.
So what are we trying to achieve here by facilitating transition to third-party providers? We're trying to.
Oh, so the reason I added that originally is mostly for the in case SRE team needs to answer questions they have regarding like the setup and in case they have some question regarding our running our node, right? So
Okay.
that was the intention of this.
All right. So let's put it exactly that. Let's say 90% of the questions from third-party providers that transition out to our RPC are addressed by the infra team. What do you think about that?
Okay.
Because
we just need that relayer who's gonna redirect the questions in case, because we don't have direct contact with them. So like
okay.
I think Bowen's gonna relay them to us.
Okay.
That's
80% of 90%. Let's say 90% of questions on RPC integration from third-party providers. Third-party providers are addressed, and then we're going to have another key result that says that it's 90% of them are captured, and we're going to assign it to Bowen. Are captured.
Yeah, and one thing which I think should be added here as an OKR, as like a separate OKR, which is like infra OKR, which Mario did, and I think should be maybe captured then, is that all infra should be managed by Terraform and Ansible.
Well, actually, Bowen should not be doing it, right? Because Bowen, you're removing yourself as much as possible from work.
But this part actually, I'm doing it because
Okay.
because the node experience team should in the
Okay.
future needs to be responsible. So
Okay.
I think we discussed this before, right? We discussed it.
Okay.
Like that should be like
week.
another. Sorry. Yeah,
So
infra automation objective. I think we can add it there.
What is infra automation objective again?
So, like infra automation is all the stuff we kind of do manually right now, but could be automated. For example, Mario implemented, like this week, he implemented an amazing thing, but like he maybe undersold it, which is essentially that you can, by using Terraform, you can auto scale RPCs automatically. Like if you want to spawn up 10 new nodes, immediately you get them in under 5 minutes.
Well,
yeah, like if they're synced, but it's fast.
So it's aspirational too, and this is.
I think that's committed because it's done, and we really needed it.
Oh, so what exactly happened? Again, it's not just general automation; it's some specific automation that happened, right?
Yes,
it's not just about automation. It's a way to spawn up fast a great number of RPC nodes. So, for example, imagine that we have like a spike in load. We're able to spawn up like 10, 20, 100 instances in a matter of half an hour. So that like alleviates pains because usually you would have to manually spawn them up.
But it's also
done not only fast, but it can be done, I don't know, by filling out one number and clicking OK in this.
Okay.
Yeah, but I wouldn't call it that. Yeah, I would call it something else.
How would you call it?
I would call it, first thing is all cloud infrastructure is managed by Terraform.
Well, I mean, but this is initiative. That's exactly how you achieve it. What we're trying.
100% of cloud infrastructure is managed by Terraform.
But this is initiative again. So what you're doing is that you're saying how you're gonna solve it. But the problem that we are trying to address is that we don't want to be bothered by doing it manually, and that should be a key result.
So 100% of cloud infrastructure is automated.
100% of what is cloud infrastructure?
No, AWS and Google Cloud.
Okay, right, great. Because who knows, maybe next week you read a good article about some other Terraform competitor and you decide it's better than.
No, it's not gonna happen. It's not gonna happen.
Well, I mean, okay, cool. Thanks, guys. And this is what, 100% complete already?
Yes, I would say.
Cool.
Now we just have to continue using Terraform everywhere.
Cool, guys. Thanks for going through this with us. And yeah, that's it.
Provisioning, cloud infrastructure provisioning.
Cool. Right. That's it. Thanks. Thanks, everyone.
Sounds good.
Yeah. Thanks, guys.
Yeah.